I'd like to welcome back everyone to Slayer Talk Season 2, Episode 5 and 6. How are you all doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Good, thanks.
Excited.
So, Jess, what is Episode 5 all about? What's the title?
So this is Reptile Boy, aired October 13th, 97, was written and directed by David Greenwald. So he's done Teacher's Pet, Angel, Nightmares, and School Hard with his previous episodes so far. And basically, Cordy tries to get in on dating college guys who are part of a fraternity. And big surprise, that fraternity is evil. Shocker.
Well done.
That's funny. I didn't realize you mentioned it was David Greenwald. I didn't realize it was him who did that one. He's got such an outstanding track record up until now.
I know. Yeah, really good episodes. That's why I like the rewatches now. I'm trying to really pay attention. So I go back to who the writers and directors are to see what else they've done. And yeah.
Well, that's I guess they can't all be hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, every filmmaker's got a real terrible movie. Stanley Kubrick might be the exception because I really enjoyed Eyes Wide Shut. But yeah, Spielberg's got one or two. Ridley's got one or two terrible ones. Yep. So, and even Hitchcock, the last 5 or 6 films, they were pretty bad.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like how this opened, and having someone running in white is always a sign of something kind of sinister going on, or the kind of being attacked in ropes. The idea of being surrounded or hounded at your own house, like the horror film The Void, and when they look out the hospital doors and everyone's in cloaks, it's really sinister.
Yeah,
because when you don't see someone's face straight away, or if they're unrecognizable, it's more terrifying in many ways.
Yeah.
I also had to props this girl deserved to get away. The most epic escape of a chained up woman in a horror anything. My God, she was vaulting fences and I was like, come on, she can't get away. She did so well.
A bunch of clumsy fraternity guys in robes apparently are just too much for her.
Yeah, I know. I was like, come on. There's no way they kept up with that. This girl, she must be on the, I don't know, what sport would you be in that would give you that level of athleticism? I have no idea, but
it honestly just showed me that there was almost from the beginning, there was a level of writing that just wasn't there because she's so good at running away from them. And then all of a sudden there's a crowd of them right where she happens to be running. It's like they knew that she was going to be going that direction, which makes no sense at all. But it just... Yeah.
There also just happened to be a cemetery that she ran into. But it's Sunnydale, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, whenever I see Dave go, yeah, that means it's a bad episode.
Yeah.
I still like them.
Yeah.
I still enjoy them.
I like the juxtaposition of, as you said, the creepy robes. You're like, that's terrifying, and they take it off, and it's just some Chad or whatever,
Chet,
fraternity guy.
All that, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm like, oh, it's the least, but also most sinister thing.
I actually had written down robes always equal evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Doesn't matter what color they are.
Although at the beginning of season 2, Willow mentions to Buffy that they got to wear robes for the session of burying the master's bones, and they decided about getting to wear robes. So that's the only time they weren't evil.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to see it.
No.
Ooh. I like then the cut to with them watching Bollywood movies for some reason.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now I remember that.
It's borderline. It's not racist, but it's borderline. It's very clever.
Almost, yeah. I was like,
we were saying that too.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I was actually just really happy that it was nice to see them hanging out not at school in a friendly context.
I thought that, yeah.
Yeah, they don't show it a lot. This was one of the first scenes, that they have a regular hangout session that's not killing things or doing schoolwork.
Also, did you guys notice that Xander's braiding was on point? That was a really nice braid. Buffy's was awful. Xander's was great. That was really good braiding. I was really impressed.
I didn't notice that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was the Channel 59 Indian TV, they called it.
Oh my
I guess
god.
this is something, although put aside the racist aspect, those kids nowadays watching wouldn't understand that like TV is what you got, and if you didn't have cable, then you got what you got. So
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of choice in terms of what was on TV sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was young, there was a channel that played Chinese and Korean martial arts movies. I think I can't remember what day of the week it was, either Friday or Saturday, and I used to love them. And I didn't think twice because I loved the movies, but it was very, very, the station's supposed to be for people of that ethnicity to support them. But I just loved the movies, so I watched it anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't think anything of it because that's what there is.
Did they have translations, or are you just watching it
Yeah.
totally like?
They were a lot of them were subtitled.
Okay.
Sometimes they weren't, and I just liked watching the action, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when dubbing's bad in those films, it's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastically bad.
Sometimes it elevates it though. Like if you ever watch this Jackie Chan movie called City Hunter, like it's almost better with the the English sub because it's so outrageous. Like so badly. Like it's just the worst dubs I've ever seen. Like Jackie Chan, I don't know who this was. He's like, I don't know why he's wandering around his apartment hungry, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so hungry, so sad."
I think I saw that on Amazon a couple of months ago. Yeah, and it was really awful.
It made it almost better. Like I loved it. It was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's amazing how I know this is kind of slightly off topic of the show, but it's amazing how things were accepted. Like the worst offender for me is Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Mickey Rooney is, I think he's Japanese or Chinese in it.
Oh,
And
I remember that. It was awful.
It's just so, and obviously the actor that played the Indian character in Short Circuit. It's just, there's so many cases.
I had no idea that wasn't an Indian man as a child. That and The Party. I had no clue that Peter Sellers was an Indian.
Oh yeah, me too, Jeff. That's hilarious.
That's on exposure, I guess.
It's product of their time. They
have
are.
you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's though? It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's so bad. Yeah.
And then I love in the 80s that they didn't change the characters; they just hired actual Asians. So like Long Duck Dong and Pretty and 16 Candles is like equally awful, but they just put it on some poor Asian guy that had to do it.
Like, oh, you read the same script because
like
I do still love those movies, that like Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't kind of ignore it, I don't accept it, I just go, holy shit, that was acceptable back then.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how things have changed? Actually, I know we're talking totally not about the episode, but we've been on a Big Bang kick for a while, and we noticed it's not that long ago it ended, but there's things nowadays wouldn't be as accepted. Like there's a little bit of hints of racism and
it's amazing, and homophobia and a few things that are just it's almost shocking because we've become more sensitive and aware of it. And it's like this is only 5 or 6 or however many years ago, 10 years ago, and it's amazing. For the better, we've become more accepting of things, I think. But
yeah, I've noticed that too. Even stuff like 10 years old, you're just like, whoa, wow, okay, that didn't age well.
Funny enough, Buffy is actually, other than some sexism from Xander just being totally inappropriate, it's actually not that bad in terms of aging well. I don't see a lot. It's not every episode that you see something and go, wow, that would never fly.
It was just that the dance where they were all dressed up as different cultures. But even then, that wasn't like, none of them were being caricatures, I guess. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't fly today, but at least they weren't being really super disrespectful or anything.
That's the same thing with the Indian TV channel 59. It's not like I watched something like that going, right, okay, this is mid-90s, where's this going to go? And it wasn't racist to me, it was just what it is, and there are predominantly channels for content from those countries, so it's like Okay, that seems okay. But then there's some moments like some of the sexism in this episode for me, like young men are the only way to go, Cordelia says at one point. And it's like, it's just, and this whole thing with Angel and Buffy, and she's 16 and he's talking about her legal age.
Oh, I forgot about
16 legal at that point?
Wow.
I think so. That's the age of consent is 16.
It is in the UK, but in the US in the mid 90s, early 90s, was it legal 16?
I think it was.
It might have been.
Yeah.
16,
I think I heard jail, but
yeah, 16 I think is the age of consent.
And he's like 237 or something.
Yeah. I can't blame them for that though, because that is such a trope all the time. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know,
yeah, I mean, really, anybody he'd go after would be too young. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spotted a sign in the school early on. It was called this week is Spirit Week. So there's some real blatant morality kind of based signage, but which I like. So yeah, there's a few coming up in the next one as well.
Did you see the drinking and driving one?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
A picture of like a rotary phone, and it says, "If you've been drinking, get behind the wheel," like of the rotary phone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is a really, really small thing about the library. We're talking minutiae in terms of detail. Is where they have, I think it was where they had computer club, where there's the desk below the kind of area with the books where they always kind of have the books out.
Yeah.
I'm sure the lampshades, the library shades were green before. Now they're orange.
Oh wow.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
I'm a sucker for kind of production details and shit. When sets change in shows or they redress a set and they say it's somewhere else. I love spotting that kind of thing. So I might be wrong about the shades.
That's funny.
That is funny.
One of the things that I always just noticed is that they can't. It's getting to the point now. Whenever they introduce a new male character, they're always evil. Always. Every new male character, I think, since the first season, if there's somebody that comes on and they name them and let them talk, they're evil. So the college boys that Cordelia meets, even though they're nice enough, or at least the one of them is nice to Buffy, I can't remember his name.
I think I
you almost know right away. You can guess from the beginning if they're being nice. I think Oz is the last non-evil boy they introduced.
Oh yeah, Tom I think is his name. Because I wrote Tom looks exactly like the mopey guy from Never Kill a Boy on a First Date. Isn't it not? They look like the same guy.
Yeah,
I guess she has a type.
That kind of generic off the production line Chet looking person.
Yeah, like it was like, is this the same actor? Like
yeah, well, one of them I made a note of this. One of them, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one trying to kill Buffy with a sword. He constantly it's a Dawson's Creek thing where it's a V-neck with a white t-shirt underneath. I don't know if it's a Gap thing or what, but
my god, that does sound like a Gap.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
that's really funny.
Do you know how this is slightly on a tangent, but you know how when people get to say early 70s in their 80s, they have this kind of the sandy color, the light pale blue, and all of that. It's what I call old Gap. And I just when I saw this guy with a V-neck and a white t-shirt, that's so kind of Dawson. Is it Dawson Leary? It was so kind of 90s that.
Yeah, I'm just watching stuff now. For some reason, there's a resurgence of like 2000s fashion now, with like all the layers that people used to wear, like 4 tank tops or like 5 shirts on, like 5 polo shirts for some reason. Like,
and there's a whole Kim Basinger high waistline denim jeans going on as well. From the 80s. Yeah, there's so much of that because there's so many students in Chester, but they're all kind of wearing 80s stuff. It's like it's incredible to see.
Oh, that's neat.
Here it's 90s and now apparently progressing to like the early 2000s.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of 90s for a little while.
yeah, the chokers, the plaid, all back in style. But I mean, I guess the 90s was all 60s, right? They brought
I
back,
was gonna say the 70s because chokers in the 60s, the chokers.
and they had a lot of like tie-dye. I remember in the 90s, like it was like sort of 60s inspired hippie wear, but wasn't really actually, but kind of.
Yeah, I've still got some of that.
I have like it's been so long since I watched this episode because we were gonna film earlier and we didn't. So I have all these notes, but I don't remember what their outfits, like Xander's plaid pants.
Oh, really?
I remember those. They were awful.
And, yeah, I know. I was like, what the heck are those? And why are all of Buffy's shirts see-through? I wrote down.
Really?
You can see her bra. I guess that was the style. I don't know.
Yeah. One of the points that I had was I thought was interesting was when Buffy's trying to sneak out to go to this frat party or stuff. She outwardly lies to Giles, which I think is the first time she's done that. To try, and it's a typical teenage thing. No, we're gonna study. We're gonna go do something else, and she's done it to her mom in the show before. So that she can be a Slayer, but she's never done it the other way around. So I thought that was sort of interesting.
Yeah, I think it was good. They had, I mean, kind of, I like the episode they brought about, like Giles being too hard on her, and then bringing out also her relationship with Angel, I guess, was also kind of like the two things that she was frustrated with. So I kind of like that they addressed that in this episode. How did we feel about Buffy's line with the "when you kiss me, I want to die"? Good, bad? I wasn't sure.
I didn't mind that too much, actually.
I didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what I feel about this. I'm like, it's kind of like it, but then I also think it's kind of hokey, but I don't know.
It's very, very 90s dramatic teenager line. You could almost picture somebody who's actually Buffy's age saying something like that. But it's also, I don't know, it's hard for me to take seriously.
I don't want to, sorry, I'm just like, sorry. It's just, for me, I forget.
The blank, yeah. The only thing I found that this episode was odd was like, I felt like, I don't know, was this supposed to be an episode in like season 1 or something? Because Xander was like right back to where he was in season 1. Like super jealous, super like a-hole about, Buffy showing an interest in guys. Like, I thought he'd moved past that, or it seemed like he had, and then he's just right back to being like jealous Xander again.
Constantly threatened. That's my note.
Yeah. He does that. I think consistently in little bits here and there. Maybe not as outward, but he does that in the other episode we just watched, the Lie to Me episode. So a couple episodes later.
Oh, okay. And Inca Mummy Girl, he also kind of had like it's fine if I flirt with the beautiful Peruvian girl, but like staying with a man, absolutely not. Like.
Yeah, I think it's like it's an opportunity for them to try to write what they feel is clever, like him defending his jealousy one-liner things, and I laugh. I think they're funny some of the times, but it's also like your character doesn't grow.
Yeah, it's just I never noticed how like persistent it was, and also just like, ugh, like I don't know.
It's really kind of grim, isn't it, to watch how seedy and like I said before, he needs to kind of relieve himself because it's getting to a point now where it's really quite disgusting watching him at certain points.
Yeah, like I don't mind him having a little beef still with Angel. Like a lot leftover, I find is really funny. Their dynamic.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny, and I would totally believe that. But like the rest of it, sometimes I'm like, you're just too far, man. Too far. I don't even know what he said. All I wrote is Xander taking it too far.
It almost sounds like he's a real guy that you don't like. That's interesting.
I guess I'm just shocked because, like, I remember watching Buffy and he was like such my favorite character. He's like he's such the like darling, like you love Xander. Like I hated Nathan Fillion for the longest time because of his like poking Xander's eye out in season 6. I was like, oh, I hate this guy. That's how much I love Xander, and I'm just like, oh, why is he so picky? Like,
It's funny because when you watch the series, like long haul watch the series, his character does grow,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen for a long time.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes
So-
a bunch of things.
Yeah, so I think by the time you're getting towards the end of it, you forget about all that because he has grown to this place. So you've seen the progression of it and you're kind of okay with it. But I don't know.
It's a twofold thing. It's not like only disrespectful to Buffy, but also poor Willow was just there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel
So
so
mean.
bad all the time.
I you know what? I think she is amazing. I think
Yep.
from almost day one,
Yep.
I've kind of I didn't know what to think of her originally when I first watched it. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched it, I'd say from season 3 onwards, pretty hardcore. The first time it came out, and she's just amazing. She's just a great actress, great character.
Right.
I absolutely love watching her on screen, and that's the kind of strong female character I love. It's kind of almost effortless. It's not like in your face, this is the moral message, this is how women should be seen on screen. She's just amazing. That's
Yeah.
what I love from strong male characters, female characters, and everyone really walk life. You got a strong personality and strong character, and she just kind of knocks it out of the park all the time.
Yeah, every episode there's a moment.
There
every
is.
episode there's
Yeah.
a moment where you go,
She
holy crap, she can act.
I agree.
Absolutely, yeah.
She's why I remember this episode so well. That's like her speech to like Angel and Giles at the end of the episode when she tells them off and she's like, "Yeah, you tell them, go." I remember this one so clearly. Like, yeah, that's right. You.
She does it in such a way where you should absolutely listen to her, and she kind of holds her own, and people respect her, and
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And like when she like that very speech at the end, I thought it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She's just a great character.
Yeah.
I love that speech. I think that's the only reason I really remember this episode was her telling them off. It's like, you're gonna live forever. You don't have time for coffee. It's like, yeah,
I thought that was great.
I thought
I love that line, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny how I guess as the show goes on, they entwine more of the bigger storylines into every episode, even if it's not specifically. But this one still felt like more of a Monster of the Week kind of episode.
Yeah.
And you'd think that they wouldn't have done that, or they'd have, this is a fraternity that apparently has been worshiping this demon. What was it? Makita. For like, a long time, through multiple generations. And it takes them a day to figure it out, solve it, kill it, and then done, and that's it. And I just kind of go like why does it happen that way? These big, well-placed, organizations can't keep their demons, or you think they wouldn't just bring up another one or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, it's the standard of Frat Boy. That's what it is. Standards have dropped. Badly.
Okay, I had a question about these frat boys. I obviously was not in a fraternity in the 90s, but like, was it typical to go to a frat party in a suit and tie? Because like, what was going on at this frat party? Like, everyone was in like a suit jacket with a tie. Like,
Yeah,
I was expecting like polo shirts or some whatever.
Yeah,
Like-
I don't know. I was never in a frat either, but it seemed unusual. It seemed like somebody wrote a frat party, but never had actually seen what a real one looked like. So you get like this weird mix of attire and people, and like they're doing pledge stuff at the frat party. That doesn't happen. That never mixed. They don't have that. They might have pledges like helping out serve drinks and stuff like that, but you wouldn't do pranks and shit on people. And I've never heard of.
Well, we haven't been to one.
Okay,
so.
that's true. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I've never heard
Well,
of
maybe you have, huh?
No, but I think it's the worst part of the episode is the whole frat thing. I thought it was really dreadful in many ways. I love how Xander turns up as like a golf pro in his red polo top.
Mhm.
I absolutely love that. But it's a really small thing. It's a production thing, and I know it's kind of not important really, but when he kind of comes through and then he walks down the corridor, there's a scene with Buffy and she's standing there on her own with a drink. The whole scene, it is like this whole thing could have been cut out. It was just so bad. And it was so low energy, that frat party. Where was the music? Where was the
Yeah.
where was the party?
I like that they like, oh, look, Xander looks like a guy, like a fish out of water in his polo shirt. I'm like, you're all wearing like your dad's suits. Like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really get it. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched 90s teen movies. I'm pretty sure none of them were wearing that.
Yeah, and you get like one guy who's clearly supposed to be more drunk than anybody else, but for no reason. It's like, it's kind of sad because he's obviously somebody who's getting just wasted and there's no energy at this party at all. I'm going like, that doesn't, okay, that's just a problem, not a fun thing.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you look at this is a small thing, but when you look at there's a party scene in Uncle Buck where John Candy's character goes to get his niece, Shanice, I think it's Shanice. He goes to get her, and someone takes his hat, and then he gets someone else's hat, and he gets his hat back later, and he goes upstairs with his drill. There's so many people in the house in this party scene. It feels like a real party. There was so much kind of vacant space in this frat party. It's a really shit frat house.
I
So
thought they were
it just
successful.
exactly, yeah. At least fill the house. That's why it's kind of.
Yeah.
That's why standards are so because they're so crap.
You're right about the standards. I actually noticed it's really funny. There's supposed to be this group of rich guys and like rich families are doing really well because of the demon or whatever. But later on at the frat party, Buffy finds outside the glass that's on the ground from the woman who escaped, and they've repaired their broken window with wooden boards.
Yeah.
I actually wrote it down. I'm going like, that doesn't make any sense. They would have just paid somebody to come and switch the window and keep up outside. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah. That is such a good detail. I love that. It's like a zombie apocalypse upstairs. They just found some driftwood.
Yeah. Like, where did they even find loose boards? They just have them?
Yeah.
That was really
I was saying this to Jess earlier that before you joined, that I really find it so odd the medieval basement and that frat house. There's something real disconnection there for me.
Yeah.
I think you almost need to show a proper entrance in many ways. It's a small detail thing, but it was so odd the way they did it. And I think the monster of the week, it's like the worst case of monster of the week because there's no history there.
Yeah.
We've seen it before I can't remember the episode where there's that scene set 400 years ago and there's a demon with horns. And it was and you know, that was an absolutely brilliant cold open and it was amazing. There's history there, there's layers and there's great writing. This was just very throwaway, wasn't it?
Really.
Yeah.
I did like the design of the monster. I did quite enjoy it. Was he like a snake or something?
Yeah. I have a note for the trivia for that is Marty Noxon said phallic imagery in episode was intentional. It's a metaphor.
Really?
That's excellent.
The snake monster was definitely intentionally a phallic snake.
Wow.
Yeah. There's something the whole I do like darkness to these shows. Like there's obviously the scene where Buffy's given a roofie or given a drug, and I thought it was going to go. Obviously, it's not going to go super sinister, but I get involved in these things quite. You know, when I watch them, going, oh Jesus Christ, she's on the bed, she's on her own. All of that, because obviously we don't know Cordelia in that shot. We don't know she's in the same room. But yeah, it gets super sinister. And those guys, those kind of frat boys, that was really, really great in a dark way in terms of the sinister aspect of it. But then you'd expect it was everything else about the frat house itself, the party, you know, all of it that really didn't work for me. And I kind of it was a missed opportunity to make it kind of really just have a lot more energy. I thought the whole frat house thing the scenes there were pretty bad overall.
I also kind of don't like the fact that every time she kind of tries to go out and do something for herself, she almost gets eaten by something. Which I'm like, okay, I I get it, but also, come on, she can't do anything. Every time she tries to just be a normal teenager, she just, it's like they're punishing her almost. Like, yeah, stay in the library. Start, so like,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Enjoy your training with Giles.
yeah. What are you doing, a young girl going out and having fun? How dare you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, although if they filled seasons with her doing nothing, well, actually, that's kind of why I like the beginning with her friends, because it is a normal scene, and you don't get a lot of that, it is why I did like that scene. So
yeah, that was nice. Something Dave mentioned, I think last season, about we don't really know how powerful Buffy is, in terms of strength, like jumping over fences, that kind of thing. Her vision is better than 2020, and the reason I mention this is because she notices the bracelet. She finds the bracelet on the middle of nowhere. Like, her observational skills are just amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. Good point, Alex. I never would have thought of that.
She was taking detective lessons from John.
Yeah, it was like a Dick Tracy kind of episode.
Yeah, her strength was very variable in this episode, but I guess maybe they're implying the roofie had something to do with it, because like it took her a while to get out of those chains.
Yeah, there is a good scene when Xander comes back to the house after getting thrown out, and he's punching one of the guys, and he keeps punching the same guy for.
Oh, yes.
This is for the wig, because he had to wear that the bra and the blonde wig.
Oh, right.
And it was that was quite funny the way he was kind of beating him up.
Yeah, that was good. It was kind of sad, but it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think the design and makeup of the monster, I got to say the standards are very high in many places for the production, and especially the makeup and the effects. They're really, really nice. Even like, you think about it, mid-90s, you had, I think one of the gold standards for me was the X-Files. There was so many kind of super, anything with kind of ooze or liquids and just kind of darkness is great. But this in a lighter vein of horror, it's still really nice. Yeah. And for a monster of the week, like just a filler episode, I thought the design and look was really nice, and the way it was the way it came out and appeared and all of that, I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I kind of like they didn't make him say anything, that they didn't give him like a voice or try to explain things, because they always like to have villains talk about their plans and stuff, and I kind of like that. It just seemed like it was just this weird beastie demon thing that its presence gave them the fraternity its success. That was a neat idea, because it doesn't really necessarily make any sense that they feed a demon and it helps them somehow, but they don't need to explain it. But I like that they made it more bestial, basically.
Yeah. Apparently there was a deleted scene where he rejoins.
Should have talked a few more.
He rejoins, the snake rejoins, talks, and like I don't know, like the lines of dialogue I saw were very like sassy. So I was like, what the heck was he gonna sound like? And he eats Tom. He was basically like, man, I do all this for you guys, like it's not that hard to like keep me happy, and you disrespect me, and then he just eats Tom and like disappears back down his hole.
Wow.
Tom, the one that slaps Buffy.
Tom was the big bad, like the one that was hitting on her and then turned out to be like the leader of everything.
Now that makes so much sense, because he slaps her, he stands in front of the serpent, and you think the serpent's going to eat him. Yeah, and it kind of makes sense for that happening. So that being deleted is kind of a bit of a mistake, really.
But it talks and eats him. But yeah, I think it's better, because I can't imagine what it was going to sound like, especially with the dialogue they wrote for it. I was like, very sassy. It's very sassy dialogue.
And the quote I've written here was, Cordelia says at one point, "Young men are the only way to go," and it's it does creep me out a little bit here and there.
By young, she means her age, right, or a grade below her. I think
she's referring to obviously Angel being so old as well, or does she know how old he is? I'm not sure.
Didn't they try to tell her? Oh wait, no. Next episode they try to tell her, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Next episode.
Yeah, next episode they're like, yeah, they're like, right, yeah, he's a vampire.
Okay, yeah.
I did like Xander's line too of was it starve a snake, lose a fortune. The rich really are different.
Oh yeah. Because it had that effect on everyone that's ever been there, kind of thing, or a business.
Yeah. I did like the song choice too. The song they played, I think "She" was what it's called. At the end of the episode, I thought that was really nice.
But I'm surprised how much we've talked about this episode.
Yeah, and two more trivias. Apparently, this is the first episode that calls it patrolling. Previously, they called Buffy going out hunting.
Oh.
And previously, she didn't patrol for no reason. Now she'll patrol nightly, even if there's no active bad guy on the loose.
Wow. Interesting.
So apparently,
Interesting.
And the other thing was that David Greenwald, who wrote the episode, thought he'd come up with a great demon name, Makita, only to realize that Makita was the brand name of some of their equipment.
Yeah.
Of some what equipment?
Yeah, it's construction equipment.
Oh.
How powered?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it like green and white? That company, yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That was the other bits of trivia.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Did someone, I can't remember now. I wrote that one person died. Did one person die?
Yeah, a little bit of me died watching this.
Okay, I think that's the best
Yeah.
one of us.
Yeah. That's the 1-star review cover quote.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But no, it was just like, it was that scene when Xander came in. It was just like, why is this scene in this? I don't purposely go with a production or a director or someone that makes things point of view when I watch these shows. I get fully invested in shows. Like I'm currently watching The Walking Dead season 10 or whatever it is. And I'm loving where it's going and I'm invested. But if something kind of throws me off where a scene doesn't need to be, or like the lizard should have eaten that guy scene, it really kind of, it jars with me. And, you know, the whole Frat House thing was terrible. So yeah, it's it wasn't a great episode at all.
Yeah. I think you're right. I don't think they showed any humans died. They talk about them worshiping it for a long time, so it implies that they've done this lots. But nobody died in the episode except for the demon, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I wrote one Delta Zeta Kappa died, but I don't remember. It's been so long, so I can't remember. Makita, and then there's one death is what I wrote, but I don't remember.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember.
Makita.
It must have been some random frat boy.
Maybe, yeah.
Good bending.
Yeah, a random frat boy.
I don't know, yeah. That episode really only memorable for me. I just remembered Willow telling everybody off on Buffy's behalf, and that was why I remember it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some good lines there.
Yeah.